Hi there and welcome to the last part of the review for the ENGL Fireball 25 full tube amp. If you haven't seen part 3, feel free to follow the appearing link in the upper right corner. As already promised, today we will check out the internal power soak of the amp. In the first part of the video series I've already explained what a power soak does. So my signal chain is still unchanged. From the guitar I'm going straight into the amp, then from the speaker out into the Frayed load box, from the line out of the load box into the HX Stomp, and then into my Apollo audio interface. For checking out the power soak, I will put my Ditto looper, it's this one, in front of the amp. So we will always hear exactly the same playing at each setting of the power soak. Let's start in full power mode and feed the looper with some playing. Okay, now let's switch to mid power. Low power. And speaker off. Can you hear this? There's no speaker built in, but there's some sound. How is it possible? I think it comes from the tubes. Anyway, it's a fun fact. For a better comparison, let's bring the different recordings in the DAW to the same level and find out if they all sound the same. To me, the amp still sounds good in mid and low power mode. However, the tone gets a bit thinner as more power is being absorbed from the power soak. So for recordings I would always use the full power mode or the line out, which works independent from the power soak. For playing at bedroom level with a speaker cabinet, the power soak works fine. However, personally I would prefer the line out with an IR. Some of you guys prefer a much tighter sound. For this, let's put a tube screamer in front of the lead channel. Here I have the Boss OD200, which is also able to emulate a tube screamer. For this, drive is set to 0, level to around 50, and the tone controls are in the middle position. So this is how it sounds with and without the pedal. Now with the pedal, Another way is to use an EQ in front of the amp. Here I'm having the Boss EQ 200 and I've turned down bass from 80 to 400 Hz and some treble over 6 kHz. I really like the solo sound with an EQ in front of the amp. Personally, I like the sound with the EQ enabled in front of the amp most, especially for rhythm playing. The low end gets tighter and the chords are more defined. Also the guitar sits better in the mix. Let me demonstrate this with a great backing track from Andy James. It's available through Jam Track Central. You can find the link in the description box below. The only thing I've added afterwards to the guitar tracks is some delay in the DAW. No post EQ or other plugins have been used. Before I reveal my rating, you should know that the amp has been purchased by myself. Nothing is sponsored. I'm a completely independent person. It's all my personal opinion. Okay, for me, both channels sound great. The clean channel breaks up at higher volume. That's totally fine and how I like it. But this also means that a total clean sound at a higher volume is not possible. For modern metal, the lead sound channel provides loads of gain and it sounds pretty good. However, it would be nice if there's a way to tighten up the low end. The mid boost is perfect for soloing and it's able to provide a great lead tone. The amp even takes pedals very well if set up correctly, means without too much gain. To save your ears, the amp has a built-in Powersoak, which works fine but not perfect. By reducing the output power, the tone gets a bit shrill and has less low end. But it's usable for playing at home with a speaker cabinet at bedroom level. The line out works perfect. Set the Powersoak to speaker off and simply use the IR of your choice as software plugin or as hardware to get a perfect sound for recording. What I don't like is that the noise gate works for the lead channel only. An additional switch to select between lead channel only and both channels would be the better option. I'm also missing foot switches. Unfortunately, none are included. The rubber feet are possibly not high enough if your cabinet has a top-mounted handle. Another minor issue is that the tube bias controls are not accessible from the outside. On the other hand, the amp sounds really good, the build quality is great, it comes along with a built-in Powersoak, a noise gate and a perfect line out. I think a street price of around $850 is pretty reasonable. I like the amp so much that I've also ordered the matching cabinet. Unfortunately, delivery is delayed, so it still hasn't arrived. Anyway, finally here's my rating. The ENGL Fireball 25 is a really good full tube amp and gets 4.7 out of 5 metal hands. That's it for today. What's next? Look at this. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and see you soon on this channel.